Hi YouTube, thanks for looking in. It is, let me see, Wednesday the 31st of January 2018, and it is all happening today. Very, very busy day in astrology today, so let's get down to it. The moon's in Leo for a start. Well, that came in yesterday and goes on for a wee bit longer yet. The desire to be noticed, wanting to be appreciated, to get yourself out there and sort of showcase what is important about you is going to be very strong in some people. If it's not very strong in you, that might be something worth thinking about, because we've all got something unique about us, something that no one else has got. And it's quite important to get it noticed if we're really going to be at one with our place in the world and the way everything happens. So that's a thought today anyway. In the body, Leo, it's associated with the heart and also the back. I wonder if that's why I've got a bad back at the moment. I'm sure it's nothing to do with digging the garden. So we've got Moon in Leo. She is 99.9% full now, very near full moon. And what a full moon that is going to be, a super blue blood moon. I can't help thinking there's a bit of sort of internet speak behind that somehow, trying to make it sound like it's kind of got a great deal of different associations that will reach into everybody. But actually, it just about has. But we'll get to the super blue blood moon in a minute. So Moon in Leo just coming up to full right now, opposite Sun. It's already in that alignment. So Moon opposite Sun is the full moon. Conscious decisions, judgments, people have to become decisive, basically, and it's quite often under pressure. Things can be a little bit crazy, a little bit fraught, because the energy is very, very strong. But basically, all these things tend to lead to a turning point in our awareness, and it's important to have those. You know, life is change. Although the astrology seems to be change, it's actually going on in a cycle, and we can go way back thousands of years and find that the same progressions were happening and everything. So in that sense, nothing's changed, but life is change. And during our little part of the world that we live in for our sort of 80, 100 years or whatever, that is really that's the time we've got to make our difference to the world, and all the resources we've got are what's around now. Anyway, Moon opposite Sun. The Sun is still square Jupiter. That has gone on for a longish time now. So moral, legal debate, that kind of thing is happening. There can be overgrowth, people can get overconfident, the truth can get distorted, and let me see, indulgence as well, it says. People can kind of, I suppose, you know, when you try to, when things get overblown and then we find out that they're not, we want some kind of comfort, and maybe then we indulge a bit too much. I don't know, I wouldn't want to be accusing anyone of anything. Spaceweather.com, I'm whizzing through this. I'm going to get to the super blue blood moon in a minute, but I want to get this lot out of the way first. There is a sunspot. There hasn't been for a while. A new sunspot, AR2697, absolutely tiny. They're saying it poses no threat of strong solar flares. They've been mistaken about things like that before, but this is science. They're very honest, and they don't say it unless it's happened, and then if it doesn't happen, they also say so. In the biodynamic cycle, it's a fruit day under a Leo moon. Fruity it shall be with all this moon activity going on. But if you're working outside, anything to do with nature, anything in the garden, anything at all to do with the turning of the year and the workings of the planet, fruit is the place to look at the moment. Okay, and we should also be thinking, are our lives bearing fruit, the fruit that we want to take us where we want to be? That is quite important, you know. We're not, can't remember the word for it, but we're not isolated people. We are a pack animal. We need to work together. But sometimes some of us just get pushed down that little bit further than is healthy, and then we don't get the message out because it's kind of swamped by other people's messages. Well worth thinking about. Right, super blue blood moon. Now then, my reading of this is it's what's called the old moon in the Native American cycle. It's a time when people naturally coming towards the end of their lives, whether that's old age or illness, but basically a natural process. It's a time when we ask for the highest, best good to come in for those people in terms of healing. And the chances are that by the next full moon, some people may, have passed away by that time. that's a really deep thing to go into in astrology, isn't it? But that is why they called it the old moon. We're calling it the super blue blood moon. I mean, it's kind of like, lip sync fail, anti-gravity can explosion moon, really, isn't it? Get as many keywords in there as you can. Oh, excuse me. I've only got the times basically in Pacific Standard Times in front of me, and it's early in the morning, so I can't say a lot more about that. But it's 8 hours behind us anyway, 8 hours behind us here in UK. The partial eclipse, it depends where you are in the world, whether you actually see it as a total eclipse or not. It is a total eclipse in some, but certainly in the United States. But it starts off as a partial eclipse, and that starts at 3:48 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Totality then begins about an hour, a little bit under an hour later, at 4:52 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Totality ends at 6:08 a.m. and it's still visible as a partial eclipse until 7:11 a.m. So what's that? My gosh, that's nearly 3.5 hours of eclipse going on if you're in a part of the world where you can see it. It won't be visible to us here in UK. It's just because it's daytime as much as anything, and we wouldn't get the same angle on it anyway. But it's definitely happening. It's definitely out there, and it's making a big difference today. It's a supermoon because it's happening on the perigee. The moon is very close to the closest point she can reach to the Earth. It's an egg-shaped transit, so the Earth is kind of here, and the moon is kind of there, around there, like that. And we're on the perigee at the moment, where she's passing as close to the Earth as she can. That makes the moon look 14% bigger and brings her many, many thousands of kilometres closer than we would normally think, because 14% out in space is a lot. It's a huge amount of miles, it's a huge amount of distance. And yet the magnetic effects, or whatever they are, I mean, some say they're magnetic, it's the best explanation I've ever heard. But those effects will reach us, those effects will happen. Okay, quick look at, let me see what else is going on at the moment, because it isn't just the total eclipse thing today. We've also got Mercury entering Aquarius, so you've got the messenger of the gods thing going on, and really probably being very mercurial. I mean, it depends, it's different for everyone, and particularly it's different for every group of people. But there's no doubt that's going to make a difference, really. You've got all the Aquarius energy and the Mercury energy, and this whole thing, sort of rules are meant to be broken, but at the same time, are we really comfortable with that? Something we've got to think about, something we've got to decide. We don't have to come up with all the answers right now because it's happening in the stars right now. It will happen again. Things are forever changing. But, things do go on for quite a long time in between the changes once we get to the planets that are further away than just the Moon and Mercury. Mars, for example, entered Sagittarius about a week ago on the 26th of January, and will actually be there until, March the 17th. And then that does not happen again until January the 3rd, 2020. So every time we get one of these amazing transits, one of these special times, something like the big super blue blood moon thing that we're having today, every time we have that, it's something you can get hold of, you can learn from, you can move forward with. It will happen again, but maybe not for some considerable time. This has really, really been the eclipse season, though, has it not? There have been many eclipses. I've since before Christmas I've been noticing them quite a lot, and we've got most of the full crazy wacky moon business out of the way in January. They are actually very positive things as well, but they can be fraught, they can be distressing, and it's nice to get through it and then within the next few days start to realise what it's actually meant to us. There are many astrologers out there telling you, that you should listen to what they say it means to you because they know. Well, nobody ever really knows what these things mean to you or to me personally in our heart. That is what's really important. I'm always saying it. If you get a birth chart done, they're really worth having, actually. If you get a birth chart done, you will find out a great deal more about the way things go. But it will always be personal to you because astrology always is. There are so many more than just the 12 signs. There's so much, well, there are only 12 signs, but there's so much more going on than just observing the 12 signs. Right, well, I've gone on for a right old good time. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the vlog. There's a new video up. I put it up last night. Lighting fires, chickens, that kind of thing. Or digging the garden as well. I'm going to go out there and use this biodynamic fruit day to have a crack at the apple tree. I know apples aren't really fruit, are they, strictly speaking? But tomatoes are. I don't like tomatoes, so I'm going to have apples instead. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.